Welcome to our Tuscaloosa Real Estate Buy versus Rent seminar. This is a program that is targeted to students, parents, and home buyers. In today's presentation, we're going to first talk about the current trends in the Tuscaloosa real estate market. We'll then discuss the current pricing for university housing, a comparison of investing versus renting, and provide a scenario for you. And then finally, Rebecca Kleckler from Birmingham Mortgage will speak about financing options. There are around 2,500 condos or townhomes in the Tuscaloosa area. The current price is up over 7% year over year, or over $100,000 in average price over the last 5 years. Now, 7% is an interesting number because at the beginning of the year, the economists were predicting flat or maybe at best 1% increase in housing values. Birmingham, year over year, 2%. Yet Tuscaloosa is a strong 7% increase. Having said that, there are so few properties available in the Tuscaloosa and Northport area. In fact, no more than 600 at any point in time. Current trends. Demand is down 39%. Clearly, the increase in interest rates have had an impact on the number of properties that are being sold today versus a year ago. 39% demand. Having said that, the supply is up approximately the same number. So it is easier to buy today than it was this time last year. And as we've already indicated, the price is up 7%. In fact, over the last 5 years, the average sales price is up over $100,000. So real estate continues to be one of the best investments anybody can make. Sure, there are down years, but look at the trend over the last 23 years. Now, we indicated that supply is up 37%. However, that just means that the supply has moved from 31 days on market on average to 39 days on market on average. Remember, we said there were approximately 600 properties available today in Tuscaloosa. A balanced market would be over 2,000 properties available. So yes, there are more properties available, but it is still difficult to find a great property in Tuscaloosa. Let's talk for a few minutes now about the University of Alabama and its impact on the Tuscaloosa community. The current student body is over 38,000 students with an estimate of over 50,000 in the coming years. 58% of those students come from out of state, and over 1,000 National Merit Scholars, over 300 in the freshman class alone. Now, the University of Alabama provides 33 resident halls to house up to 8,600 residents. Well, we are currently outpacing the number of freshmen are outpacing the availability, and there's talk that all freshmen one day may not be able to stay in the university housing. The current cost, around $4,600 a semester. There are Greek organizations that provide housing, though that's limited. $4,600 up to $5,000 is what you'll be paying a semester for university housing. Now let's talk a little bit about renting versus owning. You know, parents have often said to us, if I had only known this 3 or 4 years ago, I would have purchased a property for my student? Well, frankly, that's why we're having today's seminar. How do we evaluate the cost of renting versus purchasing? Will it be hard or easy to sell in 4 or 5 years? What value might you expect to receive? And how could we cover the cost in renting and owning versus renting by renting out one of the rooms or a third room to other students or roommates? So if you're going to rent, you're going to pay between $800 and $1,200 a month per bed. If you rent in a traditional apartment, you're likely going to have to pay for 12 months, whether you're in Tuscaloosa for the 12 months or not. And frankly, during the summer, the enrollment shrinks to approximately a third. So if your student is not in Tuscaloosa, chances are you're going to be paying for an unoccupied apartment. So renting versus owning. Approximately $52,000 over a 4-year period. The first year in university housing, years 2, 3, and 4 in an apartment. $52,000. Imagine having $90,000 in projected equity, like ownership, rather than paying $52,000 in rent. How would we do that? With approximately that amount of money, $91,000 cash out of pocket, you could have potentially $89,000 in equity or in ownership at the end of 3 years. So the money that you put in is basically your equity or your ownership after 3 years, and you avoid $50,000 in rent expense. Let's break that down. The first year, $4,800 a semester, $9,600 a year. The second year, $1,100. The third year increases 5%. The next year increases 5%. That's how we get our $52,800. Now let's take a few minutes and walk through how did we get $89,000 in equity. Well, in the first year, as we've already indicated, it's renting in university housing. At the end of the first year, in this scenario, you purchase a 3-bedroom condo at $280,000 with 10% down. We have factored in every cost we could think of for this scenario: furnishings, annual expenses of utilities. We have factored in the rental income. We did not use $1,100 or $1,200 a month. We were at a very conservative $750. Our debt service is at 6.75%. Really, over the last 3 or 4 years, that's pretty high. But even at 6.75%, your total out-of-pocket over the 3 years is $54,000. That plus the first year of rent is $63,000. $63,000 plus your down payment is the total $91,000 in cash out of pocket. So $91,000 first year renting, years 2, 3, and 4, with every cost we could imagine. Now, where's your equity? Equity includes 3 components. It's that down payment of $28,000. It's the reduction in your loan. So $8,600 of your payments over 3 years went to reducing the principal. And remember, we said it's 7% appreciation in a year that we expected 1. Well, we didn't go for the full 7%. We were more conservative at 6%. 6% annual appreciation plus your down payment plus your loan reduction. That's your equity. That's your ownership in this $280,000 condo. Here are a number of condos that are available at the University of Alabama. They run anywhere from $200,000 up to $2.4 million, but lots to choose from. And here are some popular communities for students and for second homes: Forest Lake, the Downs, Glendale Gardens, Reston Place, and the Historic District. That's where parents are buying. Northport, Northwood Lakes, Lake Tuscaloosa, and Alberta City represent additional popular homes for students and second homes. With that said, I would like to now introduce Rebecca Kleckler from Birmingham Mortgage, who will talk a little bit about financing of your condo. Rebecca?
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me today. So all in all, when you apply for a mortgage, lenders are going to want to know whether you're applying for a loan as a primary, secondary, or an investment property. Rates and loans are going to be different with each different varying risk factor. As you can imagine, lenders take on a little bit more of a risk factor if you're looking for an investment property than they would a primary residence. So focusing on the primary residence for a second, properties that are purchased by the borrowers and that they live in the majority of the time. If you are only there a half a year, there's going to be some red flags flying up as to whether or not this is your primary residence. So although down payments and interest rates are going to differ for that category, which we'll speak to more in just a minute, keep that in mind. Secondary homes or secondary properties are very nice. Vacation homes fall under that category, whether you're wanting to go to the beach or the mountains. But more than that, if you have a child that needs a college town home, then that might be a great opportunity for them. We need to focus on the difference of a second home and an investment property because there is a large difference between the two of those. But just keep in mind the main number one difference is a second home cannot be rented out. So if you are looking to purchase a property and actually make money off of, then that's going to be categorized as an investment property. So if you have a current primary residence in one town, your son or daughter goes to Tuscaloosa, you decide to take Ken's wonderful advice and buy them a home, then you'll talk to your mortgage lender and figure out, is that going to be categorized as secondary or investment? If you're looking to earn an income at the end of your time there, then that's going to be an investment property. So condos. Condos are different. They're different for financing, and I grin because there's a lot that goes into it. To put it simply, a warrantable condo meets lending criteria established by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they have several different financing options available. If a condo complex does not meet that specific criteria, then it is designated or categorized as non-warrantable. Financing options for those are doable, but they're very limited. There is also a middle category, if you will, which we're going to call the limited review eligible complex. And those are the ones that don't necessarily meet the warrantable guidelines. They kind of fall in the middle. So they can be approved. You just have to possibly have a larger down payment and be willing to negotiate with your lender as far as interest rates are concerned. Non-warrantable does not mean you can't get there, you can't get financing. You just need to have an open mindset and realize that you might need to go through a specific bank or lender. Every lender specializes in different programs. Some offer non-warrantable portfolio programs. I'm not going to get into the weeds about all that. Just know that there are different opportunities out there, so it's always a good idea to shop around. You know, get a quote from a banker and a broker and know that you've got different options. The way that these warrantable, limited review, or non-warrantable condos are categorized is based upon the Homeowners Association. They look at the insurance, they look at the occupancy. Are the people living there using that as their primary residence or investment? Are the number of units that are actually rented out versus those that are vacant? Is there one investor from across the country that owns a large, the top 2 floors or whatever? All of that is taken into consideration, and that's kind of how that is broken down. So back to the down payment requirements. First-time home buyers, 9 out of 10 times, are going to want to secure a primary residence before they move on to a secondary or investment property. Most of the lenders, banks, and investors kind of question if somebody's going to graduate from college and jump onto an investment property, although it can be done. You just have to prove yourself with the credit and your debt-to-income ratio. That being said, there are more lenient opportunities for first-time home buyers, such as lower down payment. This home-ready first-time home buyer option is a wonderful thing, whether you are helping your child purchase a new home or whether you yourself are just coaching them for the future when they graduate from college. Otherwise, you're going to want to be prepared to put down anywhere from 5 to 20% on a primary residence. Now, secondary home, you got to start out at about 10%. It's a little bit more risk for the lenders to take on than a primary residence, so therefore they're going to require a little bit higher of a down payment. Now, if you fall into that limited review, or not you, but the property you're looking for falls into that limited review category, they're going to want to see a higher down payment, a minimum of about 25%. Those that are non-conforming are going to want to see even higher. So just keep that in mind. When you're looking at investment properties, most lenders these days want to see a minimum of 15 to 20%, whether that is a single-family home, a townhome, or a condo. They want to see that you have cash on hand to put down into this property, knowing that you can recoup that. I am not a tax advisor, so check with your CPA on this, but there are lots of options on that. So just consider that there is more risk for not just your credit worthiness on condos, but the entire building. So when you're looking at condos and you have investors that are offering you a higher interest rate than that of, say, a single family home, that may play into the difference there. So in summary, I would just suggest to find a lender that you trust, knowing that everybody offers different portfolios and options that may fit your needs the best. And at the end of the day, if you find that property you like, don't wait. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this volatile market of financing these days. So as we like to say in my industry, if you find the house you fall in love with, marry it. Marry the house, date the rate, because it's always going to change.
Rebecca, thank you very much. Well, we appreciate you attending today's seminar, Buy versus Rent. We are the Hospitality Network Group at Keller Williams, and we would love to continue the dialogue. Thank you.